So welcome to the Advancement Centre and welcome to the world of magic and miracles. We've just pulled off a miracle. We got it going, don't know how, but we're back online. It's a little bit like life. As you go along, you'll be turned around for some unknown reason. And then when you're back online, you're right into it. So we can all relax and just float up into the right space and actually go straight into that bubble that supports each one of us. It's going to go beyond that this time. But for now, that comfort zone, where there's nothing around you except lots of movement, is where you're supposed to be all the time. And you can actually look down and see that elevated platform of living that you used to be on, that you struggled to get to for so many years, and now you left it behind. We're also going to leave our bubble behind, because it's now time to move into that world that is not a world. It's beyond all worlds. And it's situated everywhere, with no time zone and no time, and not even your own time. It's that place that starts and ends at infinity. Has no details and doesn't need to provide anything. Because in that space you are everything that you can possibly be. It's that place of infinite power, where there is no need to prove anything. And there's no need to even prove anything to yourself. Advancement is a natural procedure. And when you extend past even that bubble, you have a different perspective through all the channels that feed to you through many, many unknown facilities that have no description and no measurement system at all. So if you want to go back and use your brain, it's going to say, well, where the hell am I? But in fact, your brain hasn't got a clue, because it's there for other purposes and it's doing a mighty job. We're not going to look at any of the detail of anything anymore, because we've moved past the logical pattern presented on Earth, where you don't have to ask why, how, or anything else. You just keep going on this endless path that has no start, no beginning, no end, no finish, and it covers an enormous amount of measured miles in fractions of a second, never ever going in a straight line. So as you weave your way through the universe and you feel the endless existence without time, you find there's more facilities available to you than you ever knew possible. And you feel yourself well outside your body as well as in your body, all at the same time. The energies that flow, they flow around you, in you, through everybody else, and they instantly enhance everything you come near. Our purpose on Earth is to take Earth to a higher place. But we can't get there unless we're in the driver's seat. And you're not in the driver's seat until you're in that universal mode of endless infinity, to where you've gone past the limit of reasoning. But you can feel the reality growing every minute. That reality is solid. It never lets you down until you decide to go back into the mindset that you had once before. It's not possible to stay in that mindset anymore, as you just found out. There's always a way, and it'd be nice to not have any disturbances or hiccups, but that is the only way. Everything can keep changing, can keep you excited, and can give you that lift that makes gravity disappear. As your energies go backwards and forwards in this most unusual pattern, there is a very, very slight change that can happen that will make you feel extremely light. And it starts with just light-hearted feeling, but eventually it will actually lift you physically. So we're working beyond all technology, and we'll be able to achieve what technology has never been able to achieve, by using that sense of simplicity as a program that facilitates what we always thought was impossible. Many years there have been recorded events of what they call saints levitating when they're praying. So there's a field that happens when you exclude your awareness of what's around you. It actually is the opposite to gravity, and it goes upwards. And it exists within us. The only reason we're holding so tight to the ground now is because we believe we belong to Earth. And so we act that way, like fleas on the back of a dog. And every now and then, Earth shakes us off. It says, come on, get your act together and let's see you have your world that is the same as the world you're living on. And that world has its own gravitational forces, and it is able to accelerate through the universe without any difficulty. We've seen many people not bother about eating, and they're fine, except when someone comes up and tries to do tests on them. Then they get ill. But while they're left to their own resources, in their own world, doing their own thing, they don't bother about eating. It's because there's a part of us that brings in every energy that we can possibly know without the use of our intestinal system. It still works, but it brings the energy in through the plasmatic fields that penetrate all of us. So that the energies of the universe are now available to us. All we have to do is be in the driver's seat and know that we are a world of our own, and that we do generate everything that the Earth has. We generate many, many fields that allow us to actually sit in space and move in accordance with the magnetic fields and other fields that exist because of our planet, because of one another. So the interaction of each one of us is just like the interaction of planets. We have attraction, we have repulsion, we have separation in all our fields. And that separation is what makes us all enhance one another. So we never run into one another, and we never have a cause to. Once we feel our uniqueness and our ability to move our own energies in patterns that just come to us, we will start to generate fields for everybody that present a perfect life, perfect health, and a magic future. As I wrote this morning, I can't even remember what the words were, but I felt that separation where I didn't really know what was going on around me, but I felt it all. Where I was aware of things that had never been in my sight before, things that I'd never felt before, because I dared to go past the fixed awareness that has been placed on us by our own repetitive actions. Once you get to the point where you can see that they're repetitive actions and that we're only aware of what we already know, you can see how crazy our system has become. Our personal system, not the systems of the world. But our personal system says, we want everything new, but if I haven't seen it before, I can't recognize it. Sorry. And even logically, it doesn't make sense. That's what we all do every day. I know all about that. I know about that. So that's like that. Oh, yeah, one of those with a bit of this on the end. Never anything new. So when you see that and you play with it a little, you can actually extend your field to areas that have never been explored in before. And that's the simplicity of advancement. When you see the simple thing you're doing that's stopping your advancement, you can laugh at yourself and go, how crazy am I? And as soon as you hit that button, how crazy am I? You have a laugh, you get past it all, and you start to see what you didn't think you would ever see before, or again, or new, or anything. And you'll look at things and say, what's the use of looking at that? I've seen it a million times. I want to look past that. I don't want to see it as the same as yesterday. I want to see past it. I look out into the world, I want to see more. I look out through my own systems that are new to us all right now. And I can look past my visual zone. I can go to the other side of the horizon and look back this way. All those things are easy, providing you say, well, why didn't I do it before? Because the only thing I thought of is what I already know. There's no practice that you can have that's equal to following your spirit. And each time you think you've got it worked out, it doesn't work the same. And that's why it's such a thrill. And the brain jumps in every now and then and says, well, I've been doing the right thing, why isn't it working? Well, the answer is, you can only do the right thing once because it's never going to happen twice. So that's why it's not working. You can't even ride your bicycle on the same track. It's never the same. Your balance is never the same. Any movement of your body is never the same, even though you say it is. They've been trying to do that for hundreds of years with robots. And without the random movement, they can't balance them. You have to have that random movement, or you have a gyroscopic effect that as soon as it comes near anything else, it flips around, goes in circles and goes mad. So they have all sorts of things set up to try and do what we say we do, but it's not possible because you have to have random movement to actually keep you up straight, to keep you moving and to keep you active. That random movement doesn't come from anywhere, it is. It is all throughout the universe, and it's right through every one of us. We don't need to know what it is, we just need to know it's there. And if we start to think we know what it is, it's a little bit like, I know what blood is, I'll make some. As soon as you put it in your body, you're dead. Because there's always life missing. And life is universal, and it comes because it's continually changing, continually interacting, and continually growing. If you apply all this to yourself, you'll find yourself sitting there going, well, what do I do now? Do I rotate this? Do I push that? Do I get serious? Do I use my hands? What do I do? The answer is nothing. Just follow your spirit and it will take you everywhere. And you know you're following your spirit when your eyes light up. You can't stop smiling and you don't know why. And it never has anything to do with what the other person's doing. It only has to do with what you're doing. So even in the worst situations, socially, the only thing you have to do is follow your spirit. And even if it leads you into a brick wall, you'll find that that's what gets you out of the situation. It might not be the nicest thing to happen, but in the long term, it's perfect. Everything that happens to us through our lives can be classed as a disaster. One disaster after another. Or it can be, wow, I got stopped quick on that one. Instead of blaming everything else, you say, I can see now. I didn't need to learn anything. I just needed to stop doing what I was doing for that 1 second. That fraction of a second before I caused havoc is the time when I didn't listen. And you don't even say, well, I'll listen next time because that's rubbish. It never happens again. Follow your spirit, enjoy it. You don't make mistakes. They're just events that happen, and in that elevated state that brings you back to earth, everything changes. Because you are interacting with everything, but you're touching nothing. So all the particle movement that they talk about scientifically, and they build big machines and lots of fancy atomic structures and all sorts of things, happen naturally within each person. And you have command over all those things, even in the mechanized state. So you can actually stop a computer. You can stop a car. If you're really harsh enough, you'll drain the battery. If you get the right combination, you'll charge the battery. You'll make the car go without your foot on the accelerator. I used to do that to impress the kids. Follow a truck up a hill, just get the right distance, hook onto it with your own energies, take your foot off the accelerator and cross your legs. And the car would just keep going. All the way up the hill. And of course the kids were young enough, they used to jump up and down and cheer before we had seatbelts. But that's all disappeared in the seriousness of life. You have to play. You have to dare to do things and not care if they work or don't work. Because out of that, there's an interaction that allows it to happen for someone else. So the more you move yourself, the more you vary everything, the more you laugh at the stupidity that you go on with, the better you feel. And to know that if somebody is coming head on for you, you only have to put a hand up for a fraction of a second, like, they'll stop. No matter who it is, if you know that they're going to stop. And they'll actually almost run into a brick wall. But we don't have to do that, because all we do is interact with people as they pass. Interact with life as they pass. And we interact not by physical contact, we interact by a means that is way above anything we can explain. But we can feel it. I can move my focus around each person individually without even looking at them, and you'll feel it come and go. You can all do that. I can do it, everybody's watching. And they'll all feel it. Because it's a communication system that we're experts at. Total experts. And it's so fast you don't have to spend any time at it. So with us all working together to look for new things to advance in, we only have to look at anything in front of us at any time and say, what am I looking at? I'm looking at a blank picture that I've already manufactured in the first couple of seconds when I saw the scenery. If you take that and say, well, that's good, I'll erase that, the world opens up to you. Because it's a habit that came from us being lazy and thinking that that was the way to be. See, the definition of lazy is not physically working hard. The definition of lazy is not accepting any more into your world than you have painted on the wall. That's laziness. If you accept everything, the impossible, the beauty, the laughter, the noise, the characters, the smells, good and bad, you're not lazy, and you start to enliven yourself. And we don't work like machines. We don't use energy up, we generate it. So the more you do, the more you make available for everyone else. And it's not do physical work. It's the more active you are in everything around you, the more energy is generated for everyone else. Sounds crazy, but we're not machines. We're self-generating powerhouses that only take what's necessary. But if we interact as a catalyst, our energy field goes up. We generate thousands and thousands of times what we normally do, and we take the load off everyone, including your car, including the things that wear out around you. It just doesn't happen, because the field you generate is a creative field. That's why they say you're creators, but in fact it's not you create things. You create the energy, you create the fields, you create the source that is much more than you've ever used yourself. And you've probably noticed that if there's a group marathon or a group run, people that have no energy normally, with all that crowd around them, just get lifted and keep going. And that is what happens in a much bigger way with our universal selves that we are now accessing. To live a life that has no reason, that has no end, that has no purpose, is such a gift. Because then you can show your value. Then you can show what you brought with you, and then you can uplift everybody around you. And that's not a purpose, that's a natural way of being as a universal being, not as a drab human. When we get into comparisons of any sort, that's really not the world we came from, and it's not the world we're in. So you'll see most comparisons disappearing, even with people who have no idea that that's the case. They will stop making that an important part of their life. And competition will disappear to a large extent. You'll have sports and all sorts of things as entertainment, but even that will drop off, because people want to demonstrate themselves, not the team. So just see if I'm right. It will gradually change. There are so many negative things come when you can't demonstrate yourself. When you're locked into a system that says you're a team or a group or whatever. The only way the facilities on Earth can access humanity and start to get into their brain is through groups. As an individual, no one can touch you. And you can play on a team, but not part of the group. Until you get one person who says you have to obey these rules. Then it's not nice. Even in a community where everybody looks after one another, it stops as soon as you have to obey a rule. Know that this is changing, and it's because it's becoming obvious, and because each one of you can see that you don't really want to do what somebody else made up. You just want to do the very thing you do every day, and that's follow your spirit and interact with people, have fun, and not be locked into any direction at all. It's a little bit, you start to eat a meal, and someone says, no, you've got to have this piece first, then you've got to do that, and you've got to do that. And you go, oh, forget it, I don't want to eat the meal. That's what happens to life. So you end up throwing out the most precious parts of your life because of the interaction that demands your connection to another person's world. So never get connected to another person's world in any circumstance. Live a new world with them. Find everything that's new. You don't need commonalities, you need differences. Otherwise, you can't find new. So in advancing, many things don't meet the logical analysis that you've had for all your life. And when I say they don't meet it, they're not even close. You can bring everything down to one little statement that you've made that you're living by. And it's that one little statement. It's the only thing you've got to drop to have a good life. But you hide it so well, you can't find it. Each time someone gets close, you throw something else over the top of it. And so you've got this big pile of stuff that you have to get through before you can throw away the one little thing that you made a mistake with. So if it's on the bottom of the pile and you just leave it there, it will disappear just like everything else does. Energies. You know, you put all your vegetables on top of the ground and you let them ferment and disappear and change. Same thing happens to all those ideas as long as you just get above it. Go through all the channels that you've never been through before. Follow your spirit and watch what happens. I think we'll have a little break and we'll come back again. And yeah, make sure we've got it all right next time. Thank you. Okay, we're back again. One of the greatest things in life is the variety in your advancement. And recently I've been watching some scientific videos. I won't mention his name. He was a brilliant man who has explained a lot about plasma fields, space technology, medical, and the presentation of gas in liquid form at normal temperature and pressure. All things that have never been spoken about before. When you take that further and you see there's an explanation in a physical sense of how they can produce power from a plasma field, it explains a lot more about who we are. Everything that's inside us, they've tried to explain from a logical, mechanical, robot type approach. And in fact, when you look at the plasma effect and the plasma fields, the electromagnetic fields that occur in every minute neutron-electron combination, you can see that our body doesn't work the way they said it does. Our body works from these fields that actually can produce power, can produce electricity, can reproduce a healthy condition in a body, can copy a healthy part of one body and transfer it to another body without causing any difficulty. These are the things that we've been doing with our hands, with our intention, for many, many, many years. They are now using it to create free electricity, to cure all sorts of diseases. And they have people producing all these things in their own kitchen. No special tools, just the regular stuff you find around the house. So everything around us has capabilities that we haven't seen before. And I've always said, why do we have to transfer all our energy into combustion or electricity when we can decide to be warm and we'll be warm? We can decide to heat someone up and they'll heat up. We can decide somebody's well and they're well. We can use our healthy vibration and reflect it on another, and they will take what they need from that vibration and get well. And it's never, ever capable of depletion. In the new power system that they put together, it relies on initial connection to the power, and then it starts to self-generate. Then you can take the power off and keep your whole house and feed power out to the rest of the places without ever losing anything, because it's like us. The greater the demand, the more power it puts out. And it doesn't put out just what you need, it puts out more. So for anybody around, they get the advantage. So it was very interesting to go through the whole many hours of lectures the professor had gone through and see that it's exactly what we're talking about. And in real terms, we've been doing all this all our life, and now they've just figured out that they can do it with all the things around us, based on a full understanding of how the universe stays where it is. And it's based on interaction and positioning of particular fields to make sure nothing runs into one another. And if you move something in an incorrect way, you will have to affect everything. So that's why we all affect one another, because the field around each one of us is not just around us, it's wherever we direct it. And it can go in any direction, at any speed we want, to whatever distance we want, instantly. They're using the plasma field and the electromagnetic fields of gravity, and in the next couple of weeks they'll have a car that levitates. It's had it for 10 years but wasn't able to do anything with it because of all the interference of oil companies. But now it's had quite a breakthrough, not with just the technology, but with teaching through simple means that science is not what they've been telling you. That science extends way beyond the physical. And even on the internet, they're telling you about the military having a division that handles that magic stuff. And it's a very serious organisation, because it's all the stuff that they can't publish. Now, I've always said the ultimate machine cannot match one human. Now, I remember talking to another scientist at one stage saying, you know, if you play with plasma and you don't have the right intent, you can actually disappear. So make sure you've got all the right people around you, because the only thing that controls it is the integrity of man. So we're actually able to draw from that integrity anything we want, be it power, health, warmth, and movement. If we stay with it long enough, until each one of us brings our gift to the world. Every one of you can brighten up your world instantly and watch everybody else almost jump through the roof. Because as soon as you go, wow, it goes everywhere. And that's just a fraction of a second. And it hangs around and hangs around and hangs around and gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And you can't do anything about it, because that's our nature. So experiment with all the beautiful new things that are coming in to realization. And I've been tempted a few times to actually get some of the equipment to demonstrate But right now, I think everybody has a feel for what they need to do. And it's not a time for instruction, it's a time for distraction. You need to be distracted from all the things that have held you in a pattern. And it doesn't matter what you do, it will always turn out okay. Because that's how you're built. And that's what the universal awareness is about. As that universal awareness becomes stronger in each person, it becomes stronger for everyone. And the tiniest little bit of effort from one person produces 10,000 times that much for everyone. So the tiniest inflection can change the world. I won't stay on this for much longer, but I think the main thing for the future is that we start to actually talk about it. Start to talk about the stupid things that we try to do, not the stupid things we're doing. We think of something that we've never thought of before and we try it. And it might be just to make someone walk faster at a distance. And they won't know what you're doing. But you can do it. I've done it many times. You can slow them down as well. And you can see them get disturbed straight away. Just test what's available to you. Shift a cloud. Move the sun. Do all those things. Because you have a field that's totally under your control. And it is not affected by anything around it. It goes through steel. Not a problem. It goes through everything. What we have to get used to is the fact that we're really much more capable than anybody could ever do. And it's not capable in doing the stuff that someone decided we should do. It's capable in doing the stuff you decide you want to do. Not even want to. You decide instantly. It doesn't go through your brain. As you follow your spirit, you're following continuous change. And when you're following continuous change, the magic is just pouring out of you all the time and affecting everything and just pouring out all over everyone. And they can feel it. It's a physical feeling. So I think we're almost to the end of the day. I just want you to be aware, the more you play, the more illogical you are, the more stupid things you play with, the better you feel. And when you feel better, so does everybody else. And you don't have to pass it on. It's automatic. The second I go, yeah, everybody can't help it. They've got to do something because they can feel it. So enjoy your life, and we'll notify you when all this is put together, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Thank you.